Welcome to Cup Fabric number 2. So, if you watch my last 2 videos, I have to make 2 more videos, but not for that. This video is about people of mixed ethnicity and how we don't have and really need a support group. We really do. From childhood to adulthood, mixed people do not have a support group. We have outlets. We have some heroes like Tiger and The Rock, but mostly The Rock. I need a job. But we don't have support groups. We don't have someone who looks like us that we can just take an hour out of our day and go talk to them about our issues. God knows I needed this back in grade school. We had a race war at school where I was being called the half breed all the fucking time, and my white friends and my black friends didn't really want anything to do with me because none of them could trust me. It's like, yeah, we don't know what side you're on, James, because you're not a real N-word. You're a half N-word. And on the other side of that spectrum, the white kids were the same. Yeah, we don't really want to hang with you, James, because you might go tell all those black guys our fucking secrets, and you're not really an H-word. You're a half H. And the H did not mean half-breed. Right? It's the sound a car makes when you're in traffic, when you're driving too slow, and someone like me comes up behind you and blow their horn. If you really want to know, just go watch the episode of The Jeffersons. I'm sure you'll get the fucking message. I don't like using racial derogatives or derivatives, or I don't like using racial slurs if I can help it. Because I've been called every racial slur under the goddamn bus. And for me, it didn't get any better when I got out of grade school. Honestly, it really didn't get any better. And most, again, sadly, most of my racial experiences came from other people of color who were black. Now, I'm not a saint. I've had my racial negativity too. I've only had one real Asian conflict with a kid named Zhang, who I thought was Chinese, who happened to actually be Vietnamese. And I don't know what led to the conflict, but I'm owning my part because he said something, and the only one-liner or topper that I could come back with was "Go home and eat some rice cakes." And in his brazenly bold ass, and I love him to this day. I don't know where the hell he is, Zhang. You don't have to accept my apology. I don't really care, but I am gonna own my part because I don't really know who started the fight between us because we was like in grade school. But Zhang came back at me with an F you. I'm not even fucking Chinese. I'm from fucking Vietnam. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know what the fuck Vietnam was. And I was born on the ass end of the Vietnam War. So, Vietnam ended in 75. I was born in 73. So I didn't know what the fuck Vietnam was. And he won that one. Because, rice cakes. It's like, man, we don't even fucking eat rice cakes in our house. We don't even fucking like rice. Which was the first Asian person I ever met in my life that didn't like rice. And here's the kicker for you guys. Because I'm part Native American. And guess what? I fucking love rice. I hate corn. I can't fucking stand corn. I hate corn with a fucking passion. I hate corn, except for popcorn. I love popcorn. But I hate fucking corn. I had a bad experience. My grandmother, who's Native American, once made corn in the pancakes. They made me eat that shit. On my dad's side. I've never forgotten that shit. And I hate corn. Plus, corn doesn't digest. Also, popcorn. Certain parts of popcorn doesn't digest. So, yeah. But yeah, I never had anybody that I could go and sit down and cry with about how racist my life was, And then we also grew up in the projects. And my mom looks white. So yeah, I have no idea how many times someone has said, you have a white mom, you have a white mom. But my mom's not white, she's just exceptionally light. Yeah, so she could pass for white. I've lost her twice. Yeah, once in Scottsville and once in CVS. And I'll tell you guys that story before. But I will honestly tell you, mixed people, we have no support, like at all, for mixed issues. Especially, and a lot of people don't understand this. Mixed issues is race issues. That's just me putting it nicely. mixed issues is honestly, truly to God, it's just race issues. I can't really say it's race issues, but it is race issues because 9 times out of 10, um, we have a fitting in problem. All right, let me be blunt. We have a fitting in problem, and it's not that we don't fit in; it's that we are less accepted in social groups. No, there's always going to be a black person or a white person, and I'm sorry if I offend you, and maybe an Asian person who's gonna point out the fact that you're mixed and you don't belong here. You know, and I've had that happen. I've literally had that happen, but it was only like mostly from black people. You know, one of the main reasons why I only dated black girls for so long was to try to prove that I was black. And then, as I said in stories before, with Miss Turner and Miss Williams, no relation, had always told me that I would never be good enough for black girls. And so I weighed the pros and cons in that shit. Pro, I can keep trying to date black girls until I find the right black girl, which may never ever fucking exist. Or I can date girls who actually will date me for who the fuck I am and not the color of my skin. Con, in dating girls who only date you for who you are, or at least they pretend to date you for who you are, I've had a few issues. So sometimes, dating people, regardless of their color, you have to often wonder why they're actually dating you. I dated a girl who basically only dated me because I was dark. She wanted to piss off her daddy because she wasn't getting daddy attention. And that same girl broke up with me by bringing her boyfriend, who looked just like me, on my job. Hello, Miss Bach. Wherever you may be, all is forgiven. But that was some wrong fucking shit. And I've learned. You live and you learn, because life is an experience, and you have to go through it. Whether you like it or not, you have to go through it. And I had decided, I was gonna keep trying. So the last black girls that I dated, both of them demolished my heart. Just like the last white girl that I dated demolished my heart, and the first true Asian girl that I dated also demolished my heart. Her rings are over there. Because the day before I could give them to her, she decided that relationships were overrated and I couldn't come see her anymore. So that pretty much ended that. So then I found myself with a new love, and it was called the Army. I would have never left the Army had I not got hurt, and had Fort Benning dropped the ball, I would have still found a way to stay. I got an honorable discharge. I got messed up in BC, so I don't have a real service record other than the fact that I was enlisted. I hadn't really tried to get back in because I don't know if they would give me a job as teaching them like martial arts or all that shit. And then the fact that I didn't know how the martial arts certification shit worked and all this other shit. And then I kind of find out, well, guess what? You don't have to have a legit black belt to teach martial arts. What the fuck? I could have been teaching martial arts all this fucking time. And I haven't really reached back out to the military because I'm still kind of mad that I only get 264 bucks a month, maybe 284. I can't really tell you at this moment because I can't really remember, but it's not a lot of money. That much I can tell you. And kind of pisses me off that there wasn't a lot that I could do about it. And they messed me up. They messed up my hip. I had no intention of ever leaving the military other than in a body bag. And the worst part is that I got infantry. I never wanted to kill anybody, and the Lord works in mysterious ways. Let's just put it that way. If I had it my way, like I said, I'd have never left the Army. Not to come back home to the same old bullshit. And I know what you guys are thinking, well, what's that got to do with this conversation? It was just a small side story. Now, the two black girls, Miss Smith and Miss Sophonia. Miss Sophonia was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I was 14, she was 14, she was dating a 23-year-old, and he had a gun to my fucking face. So I never dated another black girl after that. Now, being mixed, I only dated black girls because I wanted to prove to the world that I was black. I hadn't embraced my mixedness yet. I took my mixedness as a curse. And a lot of us who are mixed still take our mixedness as a curse instead of the blessing that it actually is. Because being mixed is not a crime. It's just that you just drew the card. When you were born, that was the card you were dealt, and you really didn't get a say in it because wherever the good Lord wants you, that's where you're going. I believe in reincarnation, so whatever evil shit I did in my last life, I've been paying for that motherfucker now, in kind. So, I do believe in reincarnation, not just because I'm part Native. I believed in reincarnation long before I found out that I was part Native. But I also have to, when you're a child, you don't know how to interpret your dreams. You don't know how to take that shit seriously. You don't know how to read between the lines. So, dreams and visions are one and the same, because it was kind of funny how I could go back to the same point I left a dream. I can't do it now, but sometimes I can, but most of the time I can't. But when I was a child, me and all my mixedness, I had to ask people. It's like, have you ever been able to pick up where you left off from a dream? And they're like, no. I was like, well, how come I can do it? It's like, we don't know. That's new. And then, there was witch riders and all this other crap that unfolds in my damn family. So, you live and you learn. And some of the things I learned was, when you're mixed, you don't really get a lot of options for support. When kids pick on you at school and they start calling you half-breed, or, hey, how come you look like this? And how come you look like this when you smile? It's like, look, man, I don't have a choice in any of that shit. I didn't ask to be born. I damn sure didn't ask to be mixed. For a long time when I was younger, I've tried my damnedest to prove my blackness to black people. It just never worked. It never worked. I didn't give up. I just decided, it would be best if I just accept myself. I'm never going to be black enough for black people. Which is probably why I cuss so goddamn much. I'm never going to be white. Regardless. I am never going to be white. No offense to white people watching. I have white people in my family who I love and who I miss. And they know that I'm busy with school. And I haven't been able to reach them since my dad died. But I do love them. In case they're actually watching. Hi, Jen. Hi, Munchkins. Hi, Casey. Hi, Angel. Love y'all. I know you're not watching, but still, wouldn't hurt just in case this happens to come past you. Let y'all know I still love you. Anyway, to top that off, a lot of the times, mixed kids do tend to have to try to prove themselves to both races of their ethnicity. And if you're three races, you got it just as bad, if not worse. Now, I'm going to give you a prime example before I end this video, because I have an hour to go to get to work, and I need to finish this painting as best I can without it being a total distraction, because it's not really a distraction. I just want to be more focused on it. Year or so back, and I brought this up before, so I'll bring it up again, and especially because I am a fan of The Rock, and Rock, I Need a Job. That's a subliminal, in case you actually get a hold of this. Rock tried to do a John Henry movie about John Henry, the steel driving man. A lot of black people gave him flack because he wanted to play the starring role as John Henry. And they straight said that The Rock was not black enough. That is the example of half the shit, and I'm a year younger than The Rock, by the way. That is half the example of the shit I've gone through all my fucking life being mixed. Simply put, in those words, excuse me, you're not black enough. You're not black enough. Let that shit set in. If you were mixed, you probably get it from the other side, depending on what you're mixed with. I know a few Asian cats that are mixed. You're not Asian enough. You got too much white in you, or some shit like that. Something that's just all out fucking negative. Something that we have heard, no matter what. Especially if you've mixed, you've heard this shit. And especially if you're mixed and your mixed genes are like your dominant genes. They're like right fucking face value, like mine. Your mixed genes are face value, and everyone can see that you're mixed. you'll get it from one side or the other, whether it be your black side, your white side, or your native side, whatever you're mixed with. You'll hear it. If you haven't heard it, you've been blessed so far. Count those blessings. But you'll hear it. You know, you're not this enough or that enough, and people don't seem to think about the shit they say before they say it. So yeah, I've had a lot of days at school where I wanted to go home and crawl into a ball and cry because I'm not black enough. And like I said, a lot of my racial incidences, without a doubt, came from black people. And I hate saying that shit, but as I tell you guys here on YouTube, I give you 99.9 because most people can't handle the whole 1,000. But you know, if I'm telling you this, it's because it is my truth. You know, and the thing about truth, as my bro and I was talking yesterday, truth is point of view. You know, my truth might not always match your truth, unless you were literally one of the people involved at calling me a half-breed or calling me a mutt, you know, then that's the thing. And you know, the one thing you got to understand is that if you're not exactly a person who knows people who are mixed, or if you're not mixed yourself, it's going to be really kind of complicated and hard for you to grasp the concept of half the shit that done come out my mouth. Because you're not there, because it's not affecting you, because it doesn't affect you directly. It does not affect you indirectly, but it's not affecting you directly. And, you know, when you don't have to deal with that shit on a direct basis, you know, it's a different ball game versus when you have to live this shit day in and day out, and you have to scream and shout, and people are telling you from left to right, you know, you ain't black enough. It's kind of the same thing as you just being told you're not good enough. You know, it's pretty much the same thing, just worded differently. You know, and people don't get that shit because generally the people that are picking on you have no real merit. You know, other than they don't like you, or they don't like the fact that you are a mixed individual, or they either really hate you or they're jealous of you. These are the stories that have been told to me. You know, people feed me this lie all the time. Oh man, they just jealous of you. They're just jealous of you. So you ain't jealous of me because I don't have anything. I have nothing for you to be jealous of. Girls are not throwing themselves at my feet. You know, all kinds of other stuff. And, you know, the background noise is just kicking in. And I'm about to say something. And I got to do this right now. So, we're going to try this again. I know y'all see these damn lights. The lights, damn it, the lights. Y'all in the same damn room, why you still talking loud? You're going to get my foot up your ass. The damn lights. Thank God I go to work in an hour. So that being said, you know, people of color, mixed people, we don't have a support group. We really don't. We don't have a support group from anybody who's not mixed. You know, we don't have a support group from anybody who's, you know, if you're just black, you may be our friend, but you know, you don't have to actually face the issues we gotta face where you walk somewhere and it's like, hey, half-breed, how's your day? You know, we don't get any of that. We get anything but that. And then, you know, when you complain about it, it's like, you're being a punk. You know, I'm a punk that can fight, so you should be careful of who you calling a punk. You know. But then you got the people that just turns the blind eye. Alright? I had a teacher who turned the blind eye, Miss Jones. And yes, I am going to call her a bitch. I had a teacher that picked on me, Miss Deal. And yes, I'm going to call her a bitch. Because here's the thing. As a teacher, you have one job. It's not my security. It is to teach and make sure that I am being taught properly. But when school bullying happens, you have the authority to stop it. And if you are the teacher that is the school bully, then you should not be working. And that's just my 2 cents on that. And I am going to quit making this video now and try to make a part 2 later. Thanks for watching. It's Comfort Havoc number 2. Be seeing you.